Hello everyone, and welcome back to a series on making a Blackboard course from scratch in a hurry. My name is Curtis Eckerman, and this is Chapter 2, where we are going to focus on class information. Your students have just come back from break. They're expecting changes in the class. This is going to be the location where you're going to inform them how things are going to be different in the rest of the course and information they need to be successful in the class. So let's get started. Before we get started on Blackboard in earnest in terms of making our various content, we need to map out what we want in our content. I also mentioned in the last video that we are changing it from a Start Here folder to a Course Information folder. Again, when making an online course or a hybrid course at Austin Community College, we're supposed to have a Start Here section that serves as an orientation. But in this case, we're going to change that because this is no longer an orientation. This is going to be information that students need to proceed. And so as we look at the normal outline of things that should be in a Start Here section, we can see that normally you would have faculty information, something about yourself, kind of introducing yourself. You would have essential course information, things like textbook information, other materials that you might need, a syllabus schedule and course grades section, a section on college policies and resources, a section on technical support, followed with course facts or frequently asked questions, a self-introduction, and some kind of orientation activity. But we're going to remove some of this because presumably you've already done a number of these things and have them listed in your syllabus. And so again, we're going to shorten our workload by putting the essential things for the second half of your course. So we're going to do that by removing a few things. And so in this case, we're going to remove the faculty information folder. We're going to remove the essential course information item, the college policies and resources, technical support, course facts, and self-introduction. And what we're left with is the syllabus schedule and course grades section, as well as some orientation activities, which we'll see might be important for orienting your students to now being in an online atmosphere. So now that I have decided what I'm going to have in my course information, this is the information I'm going to include in this course. I'm going to have a folder on syllabus schedule and course grades, and I'm going to have some orientation activities, in particular a short video on how to submit an assignment in Blackboard. So let's go ahead and get started with this outline in mind. I almost forgot that there's actually one more thing that we need to do before we can work on Blackboard, and that is get our syllabus and schedule in order. This is probably going to be one of the things that you need to spend a lot of time on to make sure that you've made all the changes that you need and that reflect the new changes that you're going to the students are going to need to know for the rest of the semester. And so definitely make sure that you're spending time on this, outlining things very carefully, and especially highlighting any changes that are going to be made in the course going forward. So you should spend a good deal of time especially on the schedule. So I'm going to move down in this document. This is my outline or my syllabus and schedule for this particular course. And I'm going to show you how I have my schedule outlined, primarily because I believe personally that having a really detailed and outlined schedule is a big part of helping the students keep on track in the course itself. So let me go ahead and scroll down to the end. I'm just going to quickly go here to the bottom. And so here I have a table that is a lab and lecture schedule for this spring of 2020. And I will of course have to go through and make any changes that I need for this course. I don't think it's necessary to do that for the purposes of this video, since I simply want to show you how to get this into Blackboard and get it displayed properly. But definitely go through your schedule and make the necessary changes that you need. Now you'll see that I have this formatted so that I can use it in a number of different ways, and so we'll do that now. Another thing that you would want to make sure that you have spelled out very clearly is the grade criteria, especially since it is likely that whether you're using points or percentages or what have you, it's likely that the number of points and the number of assignments and tests that you're giving might change, and so you're going to need to spell that out as well. I have it on page 4. I'm going to quickly move to page 4 on my system here in my syllabus. You can see I have a grading system where I spell out the number of grades that they're going to have from syllabus, quiz, and so forth. Some of these grades they already have, so of course I'm going to have to be careful in how I alter this grading system. I currently have a grade total of 1,000 points. That's how I like to provide guidance for the students in terms of their grades. But if I need to make any changes, I need to make that here in the syllabus, and then I'm going to also post that in Blackboard so that they can see that very clearly. Okay, so let's start by going back to Blackboard. We're going to build our folder and our content, and then we will cut and paste stuff from our syllabus into that. Okay, we're back in Blackboard and we're ready to build the information in our class information folder. So let's click on that and we'll go to our empty folder. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build another folder that's going to contain our syllabus, our schedule, and our grading criteria. Now you could add those as individual items inside of just class information. However, I like to put things in folders too, because in the end, as I add more things to this down the road, perhaps maybe even next semester, then it's going to be just a little bit more organized. So I'm going to build a content folder inside of my class information folder. I'm going to name it Syllabus Schedule and Grading Criteria. And then I'm going to scroll down and I want to add some text. I might, just so the students will know what's in the folder, I'll type something here. This folder contains the following information or following files or folders. It contains an updated syllabus, an updated schedule, and grading criteria. I also like to dress this up a little bit. I'm going to make it a bullet points here, and there are options down below about when to make this displayed and things like that. You should not have to worry about that. Just go ahead and hit submit, and we're going to see now a folder that we will go into in just a moment. But you can see now a student, when they come to this class information folder, they're going to see what's in what folder, and they'll be able to navigate this pretty easily. I'm going to now add the orientation video in terms of how to submit an assignment. Now, I was doing this earlier and I was doing it the normal way I do it, but for some reason there seems to be a problem, so this is a good place to show that there might be a problem with what's going on with at least ACC's Blackboard and YouTube. It comes up with an error. So I have a video, and in fact if we look at the top here, if I go to it, I have this video that I made some time ago on how to submit an assignment in Blackboard, and I want to show that video in my Blackboard so that the students have access to it. So I'm going to make this video. I'm going to show you the problem I ran into. As I build content, you can see I have different options here, and one of those is a YouTube video. And normally what I can do is I can go in here and do a search for this video. So I can, for instance, go down here to share, copy this link for this video, go back to Blackboard and paste it here into this and do a search. But you will see that it's going to come back with a big error. Now I've tried to go look at the API, and I thought maybe perhaps this was because this was one of the older semesters, but it turns out this is a problem that's showing up on my new semesters as well, and this is not an error I've run up against before. So obviously we need a different way of doing this. So let's go back to class information. That's not going to work. Instead, what I'm going to do is I could add a web link. That'll work. I've tried this already, and so I'm going to add this URL. I'm going to paste what I already had there. I'm going to name it how to submit an assignment. And that's really all I need to do. Now I could add a description here if I need to, but I think the title is self-explanatory, and I'm going to hit submit. I'm going to show you, though, while I'm here, Another way to do this that I like, because it will allow them to watch the video inside of Blackboard, I'm going to go create an item. Now, an item is something that I can put anything in, but it turns out I can also put a video here. So I'm going to title this How to Submit an Assignment in Blackboard. And I'm going to use a trick I like. I'm going to go back to the video. I'm going to hit share. And instead of copying this link, I'm going to go to the embed link. And an embed link allows me to embed videos, and it's not showing me the copy link down there, but I'm going to select all of this HTML code here. I'm going to copy it, Control C. And I'm going to go back to this. Now, I do not want to do it here. I don't want to pop it in here like this, because nothing will happen. Sorry about that. Instead, I'm going to go to this little HTML button here. Click on it. It's going to bring up another box. That's where I'm going to paste it. I'm going to hit Update. And it's going to just show a yellow box here. It's not going to look like much. But when I hit Submit, it's going to show a video here that the students can now click on. They have controls here. They can, I'm going to stop it from playing, but they can stop here. They can watch this video inside of Blackboard. And I kind of like that option better, just because I like the look of it. I like having it here available to them. Okay, so I'm going to leave both of those up for now. Just know that you can do either one of those, and both of those are effective. When they click on this link, it'll take them out of Blackboard into YouTube to watch that video, and here down below they can watch it in Blackboard. Okay, so let's go now to the syllabus schedule and grading criteria. We're now in this folder, and you can see the breadcrumb list up here. We're inside class information, inside the syllabus schedule and grading criteria folder, and we're going to create an item. So the first thing I want to create is a syllabus link, so that they can have access to the syllabus and download that syllabus to look at for themselves. I'm going to create an item. Now, I could also basically attach a file, but I like this method better personally, so I'm just going to call this the syllabus, or I'm going to call it updated syllabus. And I'm going to create the updated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link it to something. I'm going to link a file on my computer to this. So I'm going to call this the updated syllabus. I'm going to call it a Word document, if I can spell properly. I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to hit this link. This is going to allow me to search for the file on my computer, and I'm going to browse my folders here. I think I have, trying to remember where this is. It's in my information. So I basically, when you save your syllabus, you'll know where it is. I have mine right here. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to open it. And you'll see at the bottom, if it's a big file, it'll have a little loading screen at the bottom of this. I like to open this up in a blank frame if they download. It doesn't really matter that much. I'm going to go ahead and insert. Now I have a link to that file. So what Blackboard did is it uploaded that file onto the web, so it's not actually accessing your desktop. I also like this, make this a little bit bigger too. But I'm going to submit. Now you may say to yourself, well, you just uploaded a Word document, why not a PDF? Well, Blackboard has done something recently where once it gets everything loaded up, it's going to give a variety of different alternates. So for instance, next to this link, it's going to have a little A eventually that'll allow you to download it as a PDF if you wanted to as well. And so I like to give both. I used to in the past give both options, both a Word document and a PDF, but Blackboard will now allow a student to download it as a PDF as well. So let's say they don't have a Microsoft Word access, then they can download it as a PDF. Okay, so I've got my updated syllabus there. I also like to display the schedule here, so I'm going to make another item. I'm going to call this my course schedule. and I'm going to want to copy and paste my course schedule into this. So I'm going to go down here to the Word document that we had open. I'm going to go down to my schedule. I'm going to click on my table. Actually, I'm going to highlight I'm just going to pull this whole thing. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I know there's different ways to highlight this. I can put my cursor at the beginning, and then I can also then go to the end and click, but I'm just going to click and hold this all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to catch all of that text there as well. Actually, they're not taking the test in the testing center anymore, so I won't take that text. So I'm going to highlight all of that information, Control C to copy it. I'm going to go back to this window and just Control V to paste it all in. Now in this case I did not go to the HTML button. So I now have this in here. I've got the entire table. I'm actually pretty pleased with that. If I wanted to delete things, I could go here, for instance, and I have to right click and I have to delete rows, for instance, but I don't want to do that in this case. I might want to do that a little bit later. I'm going to hit submit. And so I've got a syllabus that they can download. I've got a schedule that they can view. They can view the entire schedule here. Now you might want to truncate this by taking off the first half of the course so that they don't have to see the dates that they've already done. In fact, we can just go do that, and I'll show you again how it works. Sorry, this moves around sometimes. So what you would do is you would go to the drop down arrow here next to course schedule, click on edit, and it's going to take you back to where we were. And I want to eliminate modules 1 and 2 because we're halfway through module 3, but I don't really need them to see module 1 and 2. So I'm going to highlight this part. Oops. I'm going to right click, go to row and delete row. And so now we're at module 3. This is just going to clean up things a little bit so they don't have to see the entire schedule. And I like to look at the bottom to make sure the format's okay. I like to get rid of any extra spaces here. So I'm going to hit submit. And here we are. We now have our updated schedule with any updates that you had in the schedule, and the students now have access to this. Finally, I'm going to make a grading criteria, and I'm going to do it exactly the same way I did the schedule. I want to go ahead and create an item. I'm going to call this grading criteria, and I'm going to go back to my Word document. So fortunately, if you've noticed, one of the things that works well with, say, Word and Blackboard is that I can indeed copy a table, and it keeps that table format going into Blackboard. And so I want to be able to copy my grading system. Again, assuming that if you had any changes, you would have made your changes here in the syllabus before you loaded it up. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back to this page, and I'm going to paste, Control V. And you can see it all there. And now the students have the essential information, course information, available to them, and it's now in this folder. So when they come to class information, they know that there is a folder that contains the syllabus, the schedule, and the grading criteria, as well as some information on how to submit an assignment. Now you, of course, would want to maybe potentially include things like how to check grades, things like that, but I just put up here some of the essentials that I, through experience, know that students want to see and have trouble with. So to clean this up, actually I would remove this middle link because I like the video embedded, and I just go to drop down menu, go to delete, and pull it out. And so now I am finished with my class information. Feel free, of course, to add other stuff that I showed you earlier would be in an online course or a hybrid course, things like instructor information and other materials like that. But again, we're trying to be functional as quickly as possible, and presumably because you've seen your students for some time, then they know who you are, they know where your office is, they know some of those essentials. Okay, so that's it for Chapter 2. We've set up our class information. Next time we're going to set up our course content. There's going to be some similar things, similar ways of adding things, but we're going to also include how to organize your course content as well as add things like discussions and tests, although we will have a separate section or separate chapter on how to deal with tests itself. Okay, I hope you enjoy, and I will talk to you soon.